Hi, Andee. Welcome to L.E.A.D. We are so grateful to have you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited.
Yay. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to work in special education?
Well, this is my 28th year of teaching, which to me is wild. I can't believe I'm old enough to have had a job for 28 years. Currently an instructional coach for special ed for my whole district. So my job is to go into classrooms all across the district in our specialized programs. In California, they're called the Mod Severe programs, and help the students who are most impacted by their needs to be better, and help the teachers to be better, and just do whatever the team wants or needs to help everybody improve. Previous to that, I was a classroom teacher for students with moderate to severe autism. I worked in our district's adult transition program for students that are between 18 and 22. When they finish school, they can continue on, and I worked in that program. I also taught gen ed for years, and I've taught everything from kindergarten through adult transition. I've pretty much taught it all. And I have 3 different teaching credentials. I have a gen ed credential for elementary school, and then what's called in California a mild moderate credential, and then also a mod severe credential. So those credentials allow you to teach in California any level of students. So yeah, it's a wild ride, and education has changed so much, and I love it. And to be honest, growing up, when people asked me what I wanted to be, I said anything other than a teacher. But I was also the kid, there are pictures of me holding a piece of chalk, because that's how old I am, to my cat's paw to teach him how to write on a chalkboard. So clearly I was meant to be a teacher, but I was just blocked. And when I was in college, I was working as a student assistant in the Department of Special Education. And my bachelor's degree is in deaf studies, and I thought I was going to be an interpreter. And I was kind of feeling that it wasn't going to be a good match for me. And one of the professors in the Department of Special Ed said, "Oh, no, Andee, you are a special education teacher. Let me go show you." And took me to a couple of classrooms, and that was it. And it was done. It was like he saw me and he knew. He looked right at me and knew exactly what I was supposed to do. It was wild. And now here I am.
What are some best practices you've seen to improve outcomes for students with disabilities?
I think having those open communication that we talked about. I also think that in general, we can all do a better job of listening to the people who are experts in their field, even if it may not feel right in the beginning. So sometimes when we're working, again, with our students with autism, when we have our BCBAs come in, the things that they might want us to try and do, or if they're receiving ABA services at home, the things that they want us to try to do may not feel right to us, or it may feel counterintuitive, but they're the experts in how the brain learns. And all of our brains learn the same way. But they're the experts. So if they say to do it, give it a fair try. Not one of those, "Oh, I tried it, but it's like a little half-hearted try." Like, do it with fidelity, really try it. The same thing, if our PTs or OTs ask us to do something that might feel hard for our hearts, right? Because we all have those mama hearts. And, but we need to push our kids to do those hard things. And it's hard to see them struggle, and it's hard to see them not in pain, but they think they're in pain, right? But we have to push them. So I think if we listen to the people, give it a fair try. Not everybody is right 100% of the time, but give it a fair try and see if that helps. I think as we learn more about the science, like the science of reading and brain science and all of those things, accept the new learnings and be okay with the old practice. Okay, now we know that that's not best practice anymore. This is what's best practice. So sometimes it's hard. Well, I've always done it this way. Well, now we know that that's actually detrimental to kids. So let's not do that anymore. And being okay with accepting that, like some of the things I did in the 90s when I was teaching, we would never do that anymore. And that's fine, that's good. But I can't say, well, that's what worked then, because we know better now. So when we know better, we can do better. I think that it's easy to get stuck in our own ruts because that's what's easier, right? We all want to take the path of least resistance. And it's hard when we ask teachers to try something different or do something more because they are already doing so much all the time. But we have to be willing to grow and learn and following best practice. We know what's current best practice, so we should be doing that now. I think it's important that we work on training our staff, our support staff, or if you call them instructional assistants or para-educators. Man, they're doing that hard work. They're in there, they're in the trenches doing the things, and we need to support them and train them, and provide them with what they need so that they can better support our students. And I think it's important that we can have better outcomes if we accept that this is the right thing to do, even if it's the harder thing to do. So when I see classes maybe running IEP goals in a certain way, and I'm like, we can do it a different way. It's going to be harder, but it's going to be better. Because the way it's being run now, for example, the students may be memorizing the answers, and that's not what we're looking for. We want them to generalize into the world. And for some students, generalization is very, very difficult. So we have to be very mindful of how we do those things. That's why I think it's super important that IEP goals be written in a very specific way so that everybody can understand and run them. Collaboration, it has a huge impact on student outcome. I think trust, collaboration, and communication. A lot of our students can't go home and report to their moms and dads what happened at school. And that's hard for the mamas and that's hard for the dads. So what can we do to open those doors of communication to the parents? So when I was in the classroom at the end of every day, we did a little thing called Daily Buzz, where they picked a few things that we worked on that day. We first brainstormed a list, and then they said whether they liked it or not. And even if I saw the kids smiling and enjoying, if they said they hated it, that's what we went with. It was all their opinion. And at least it opened the door to communication so the parents could start a conversation about what the students did that day. So I think it's just those little things that can have a big impact, and that's going to affect the outcome long term.